Time for another edition of the Blackhawk Buzz.
Yes, it is.
I'm Van, he's still Derek. Okay, let's be serious now.
Yep.
Etiquette. Beginning of the season, sometimes it's been a while since people have played. Fixing ball marks. Huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first off, I think in June we're going to have Etiquette Month, right?
Ooh,
but I thought, maybe 2 weeks to prepare for it so that our video can get out and talk a little bit about it. Our greens are really what sets us apart as a golf course, and we have to make sure that we take care of those things. And I know in the beginning of the year you get out there, you're hitting shots, you don't think much of it, but ball marks on the green are critical to how beautiful our greens will be. Now, how do you fix them? We're going to do a little video on that shortly, but just make sure that you carry around a ball repair fix-it tool.
You have them right here in
the
We have them
right here. You're going to stick it in and you're going to push. We don't lift. You don't want to lift because then you rip the roots out of there and that actually kills the grass. And that's why sometimes you see those little brown marks on the green. So anytime your ball hits the green, even if it's a little pitch shot, make sure if there's a little indentation, stick something in, a tee, ball fixer repair deal, push it in a little bit, smooth it out, tap it down with your putter, and then move along. But that's what makes us, who we are.
Okay, whether it's in and around the greens, from 100 yards out, replacing divots.
Big deal here. I mean, you don't want to see Chad in the morning after a big Monday event, let me tell you. But, here we're a little bit different. A lot of courses, especially for some of our newer members who have come from other clubs and are a little bit more used to sand on the cart, sand on the tees, put it in there, so on and so forth. We've tried that. It didn't work so well. Sometimes we do it, sometimes we don't. So Chad really has taken it upon himself to, on the par threes, make sure that he's putting the seed in there. But here at Blackhawk, replace your divots whether they're in the fairway or in the rough. And a lot of times people think, you take some of that longer grass out, not a big deal, but we got to make sure we replace our divots all the time, okay, both in the fairway and in the rough.
Sand traps. Number one, do we want the rakes left in the traps or outside the traps?
Yeah, we want those rakes left outside of the traps, and we definitely don't want them in between the trap and the green, right? So you don't want to put them on that side, so when somebody hits out, they might hit a rake. I would tell you outside of the bunkers and generally a little bit more parallel to the fairway so that if a ball's coming towards the bunker, it doesn't hit the rake and do something different. A couple things about this. Over the winter, it seems like we've become a little bit of a dog park, which we're working on a little bit. But those little footprints that go in the bunkers, a lot of people think Chad does the bunkers every morning. That's not true. Chad's group tries to get to the bunkers every other day. So even when you're playing at night, right? A lot of times people come out 5, 6 o'clock and sure, you don't see anybody else on the golf course, hit a couple shots out of there and you just think maybe Chad's group's going to get to it. That's not the case. So we got to make sure that every time we go into a bunker, we're raking the bunker and then taking the rake outside of the bunker and setting it on the side.
Is there a particular way that you want them to rake the bunkers? Sometimes they want to push the sand in. Sometimes they want to push it out towards underneath the lip or something
I think the one thing that's really important is as you're getting ready to hit a shot out of the bunker, if you were to rake, imagine the lines of the rake going towards the hole, because if they're going the other way and your ball gets into one of those little ruts,
tracks,
tracks, sometimes it's not that favorable. So just as you're in the bunker, if you're on the left side of one in that left bunker, doesn't need to go parallel to the green, probably needs to go a little bit more like this, so it's a lot easier for us to get the ball out of the bunker.
A lot of people are using carts on a day where there's an awful lot of rain, moisture, what have you. Some people think, well, because I've got the bad knee or the bad this or whatever, I can inch up a little bit closer to the green, and that's kind of a be careful.
Well, but we are sensitive to that. We do know that there are physical limitations and people are getting older, so you can come into the golf shop and ask for a flag, and you can put a flag on the cart, and that gets you a little bit closer to the greens and the tees. But really, we'd like you to stay about 30 feet away from the greens and the tees and really pay attention to high traffic areas. When there is a cart path, this may sound strange, but try to get all 4 tires of the cart onto the cart path, not 2 on, 2 hanging off, because you can see where the ruts are on the, sometimes on 6 you're making the corner there and you get 2 on. So anytime there's a cart path, really try to get all 4 tires on there. We'd also really like it that when you're in a foursome that you have 2 carts and not 3. I get sometimes you're trying to play really fast, but again, the wear and tear on our golf course, we know we hold moisture. We know ever since they've trained or closed the drainage on 3 that, there's some flooding that goes on out there, and we got to be really sensitive to the high traffic areas. Make sure you pay attention to the signs. Chad has them out there for a reason,
Sure,
believe it
sure.
or not. They're there to tell you where to go. You know, so you don't want to go behind 13. You don't want to go way up by 18, things like that. But just making sure that we're taking care of our golf course, understanding that traffic is a big deal. The grass will get worn down really fast. And, you know, and that's who we are. We are a golf course. Fixing the divots, fixing the ball marks, raking the bunkers, making sure that we're paying attention to what we're doing with golf carts, and from there, Blackhawk's going to be a beautiful place.
Just remember etiquette. Every time you tee it up, be kind to the next person who's going to follow you that afternoon, the next day, the next week, and we'll have a more playable, more fun golf course. That's another edition of the Blackhawk Buzz.